Hey loves, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to talk about Seeking Sister Wife Season 3 Episode 5 of Sharing is Caring. And we're going to talk about the Merrifields, which consists of Roberta, Danielle, and Garrick. Roberta isn't a part of the family yet, but it's moving in that direction. So Danielle is struggling with jealousy when it comes to seeing her now ex-husband Garrick together with Roberta. One of my followers made a good point and said that Garrick has stopped looking at Danielle and even acknowledging her really since they've been in Mexico, and I strongly agree with that in my opinion. So the producers asked Danielle about it, and she starts crying and saying she doesn't like talking about it because she feels like this is something she's mostly worked through, all the jealousy, and she doesn't want to relive those feelings. But girl, really? Have you really worked through all those feelings? Because I don't think so. There's trouble in paradise for Danielle. Like I said before, I really feel for Danielle because I truly don't believe Danielle is built for polygamy, but she's just so in love with Garrick, she's willing to sacrifice her own happiness at Garrick's expense. And I feel like Garrick should be more considerate of her feelings because she's the one that has suffered the most through this whole transition. Garrick overheard Danielle crying to producers and got worried, so he came over to Danielle's room with Roberta to make sure she was alright. And Danielle told Roberta that ever since Garrick started looking for another wife, Danielle has been struggling with jealousy and been insecure with herself and her marriage and felt like she isn't enough for Garrick or good enough for Garrick since he has to go looking for another woman. So she said she was in a very dark place at that time whenever she first found out Garrick wanted another sister wife, and it still seems that she's somewhat in a dark place and not 100% voicing the way she feels. She's starting to, but you can tell everything is bothering her a whole bunch more than she likes to admit. She said she was worried Garrick was going to find a potential sister wife and end up liking her more than Danielle, then leave Danielle all with nothing by herself, and she wishes that Garrick would reassure her more that he isn't in this lifestyle to leave Danielle. He needs to remind Danielle that she is loved too, and she's a priority and her feelings are valid, and he also needs to reassure Danielle that he wants an addition to the family, not a replacement for Danielle. Especially when people are together for a long time, it's easy to lose feelings over time, and when someone meets someone new, they're like a little kid in a candy store feeling all giddy. And I feel like Garrick is so focused on Roberta and his spark, but forgetting that he still needs to put time and energy into his relationship with Danielle too, because at the end of the day, she has feelings and she's deeply in love with him, and she needs reassurance so she can feel complacent and be at ease. And Roberta was trying to reassure that Garrick loves Danielle, and if he didn't, then he wouldn't be there right now. So Danielle spent the night alone so Garrick and Roberta could have time alone, and Garrick and Roberta got it in. So then the three of them went on a camel ride, and then they had drinks and dinner the next day. So Roberta started acting all weird, like there was a chip on her shoulder, and she told Danielle she needed to talk to Danielle and let Danielle know that her and Garrick snuck in a quickie. And Danielle was the first night that she was there, and Danielle was taken back by what Roberta told her because she couldn't figure out when it happened, because she spent the first night with them and felt betrayed by the sneakiness of all of it. Garrick said he hopes Danielle doesn't get upset because it wasn't something that was planned or maliciously done. And Danielle said she's just staying quiet now because she wants to be able to think things through before she says something she turns around and regrets. So Danielle asked Garrick if he used protection with Roberta because they can't be having no babies until Roberta and Garrick get married. And Garrick laughed and said no, but he couldn't keep a straight face. So it really seemed like he was lying in my book, but that's just my opinion. Roberta said Garrick only lasted 30 seconds when they did get their quickie in, so we got a little, he's less than a minute man, 30-second man. So my final thoughts on the situation is I think that Garrick needs to reassure Danielle more. Like I said, he needs to make Danielle feel just important as Roberta because he's just worried on his little wife. You know, he calls Roberta his little wife and only cares about her, but he doesn't seem to really care about how Danielle's feeling. The only time it seems like he cares about how Danielle's feeling is when Roberta pushes the subject, like, hey, sister is upset, you know. So, of course, I love when you guys put your opinions in the comments. So, we're going to look at a few people's comments from my last video on this little love triangle that's going on between Roberta, Garrick, and Danielle. As said in previous episodes, Danielle said Garrick printed off divorce papers and they almost divorced twice. I feel like Garrick said he would only stay with Danielle if he could be with someone else, not because God told him to start polygamy. LOL. And then Jen says, I get that they chose to do this, but it has to be a mind F-U-C-K. At least a little when your husband is divorcing you to marry someone else. Like the Browns, I think that was the start of the downhill for marrying Cody, and I 100% agree with that. And then we have Ann says, I got the impression that Garrick would have divorced Danielle anyways. She said he'd had papers drawn up for it several times before, and that's crazy. I must have missed that part, which I've seen every episode this season. I don't know how I missed that part. In my opinion, she should have treated this divorce like a real divorce because it was. She should have had assets divided and told Garrick that she was just protecting herself and that they all stayed together, they'd share the assets, but not she was protecting herself. I think that's a very good point, Anne, because it seems like, you know, Danielle, it hurt her emotionally, the divorce, but it seems like she didn't thoroughly plan it out, like splitting up the assets and making sure that she's protected and she's taken care of, worst case scenario. And then we have Julie says, I don't think I could do that. I know I wouldn't do this. I love this lady. She has a sweet soul. I missed the last episode. I need to go look now. I agree with you on this. Garrick is acting way too thirsty for Bert. And why do they call her Bert? That is shit. I don't know. No diss on anybody who's named Bert, but I just think of a guy when I think of Bert. And J.E. says, I think Roberta is into Danielle, waiting for that to unfold. I kind of thought that too until I heard that Garrick was the only one that was supposed to be sleeping with Roberta, that he's not sharing the wives. The wives aren't actually having intercourse or messing around. So, even if they wanted to, I don't think Garrick would go for that. And Keon says she looked so sad when she divorced him. And I'm sorry if I mispronounced any of you guys' names wrong. I'm really bad at pronouncing names. Oh my God, Kiana, I'm sorry, girl. I thought it said Keon. I need to go put my glasses on right now because my bad. Then we have Kate. She says, things have changed already. Danielle is a divorced mother of two whose ex-husband is so damn selfish. He's putting her in a position she shouldn't be in. And girl, I completely agree. Danielle wouldn't be in this position if it wasn't for Garrick. And Danielle should grab the kids and Bert and get as far away from that toxic B word as possible. And thank you, Kate, for putting little stars in the cuss word. And I noticed someone else did that too. Thank you guys for doing that, because if you do cuss, then the certain cuss words, YouTube won't post the comment. So if you're like, oh my God, she deleted my comment, it's not that. It's just certain words are flagged and YouTube won't put the comment out. So when you do it that way, it will actually post the comment. So thank you for doing that. And then we have Antonita says he doesn't even look at his wife anymore. He's a cheater. And I don't necessarily say like cheater because he talked to Danielle about it before, but I completely agree with you about that he doesn't even look at his wife anymore, and that's who I was talking about earlier in the video. I completely agree with that statement, because ever since you said this, Antonita, I've been paying attention, and he doesn't look at his wife no more. And then Hey K.A. says, get everything in writing, and I 100% agree with that also. And who said, nope, I wouldn't want this either. And like I said, I've had people comment on my stuff saying they're actually in a polygamous relationship and they're very happy, but it's not for everyone. Either you're built for it or you're not built for it. Me personally, I'm not built for it. When I have somebody, I want them all to myself, and it would be too unhealthy for me to partake in anything like that. I make my man watch the show with me, and I'm so glad he doesn't get no ideas from the show, and he's like there's no way I could ever do this, and I'm not built for this. And I'm so glad that he kind of thinks the same way I do. Like I said, nothing against anybody who is for it. You're either for it or you're not, but I just don't like sharing people personally. But that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all the support, and comment your guys' opinions below. Happy 420. I no longer celebrate 420 because I'm in recovery, but everybody out there that partakes in it or who doesn't partake in it, I hope each one of you guys has a great 420. And bye. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And also, one last thing, I had a subscriber ask me to make my videos longer because she likes to listen to my videos while she's cleaning, and I completely understand, because nobody likes to listen to a 3-minute video, put the phone down and clean, and then have to pick it back up and then, you know, mess with your phone and go on to another video. So I'm going to start making all my videos at least 10 minutes long. So I hope you guys enjoy these longer videos. Bye.